That bass head. Alright, let's do this.
I'm on the air, we got this pockets flow. It's me and Tony on the mics, we gotta let you know of current events, little gaming, sprinkling some entertainment. We stay humble, but our moms still think we're famous. Turn up the bass and baby, maybe let that magic flow. Our spoken word is all the things you really wanna know. Having a good time on the show, T-Bows and Matty G. Tune in and hit subscribe and join us on the FAP.
Welcome everyone to the Freaking Awesome Podcast. I am your host tonight, Anthony Bowes, and we have a wonderful guest. Unlike a lot of our guests in the past, we actually have someone from the sports industry, and I'm super excited to have her on the show because she is notorious for breaking walls and one for the books when it comes to women's liberation, when it comes to many things. And on top of all that, she was actually an inductee into the California Boxing Hall of Fame. The wonderful, the talented, and the legendary Jackie Kaplan-Kallen. How are you doing today, Jackie?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. I'm super excited to have you on.
Well, I know we're going to have fun. That's for sure, because
100%.
I know your questions are all over the place, and so are my answers. So
That's right.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's excellent. Now I got to tell you, first of all, and I'm sure you get this all the time, but when you started into this industry, clearly you were paving the way, especially for women in the sports industry. And I can only imagine the amount of flack that you got and the walls that you had to break through. But what was the hardest thing you had to overcome?
Well, I think there were several aspects. I had been in boxing for 10 years as a publicist and a boxing writer before I ever tried to be a manager. So when I first got it in my head that I wanted to manage, it was about getting male boxers that felt comfortable enough to have a female as their manager. Because I know it was a little embarrassing for a lot of them at the beginning, the ones that I started working with. You know, they got teased, and people would always say, well, you're going to hide behind her skirt, and is she going to come in and hit us with her high heels? And, you know, just silly stuff that boys in a gym being playful tend to do. So I just had to kind of ignore it, rise above it, and just continue to be myself. You know, I didn't try to dress down and wear sweats and no makeup and a ponytail and try to blend in. I continued to dress the way I normally dress, wear my makeup, and just continue to be a woman in a den of all men. But I was able to hold my own. I'm not shy. I don't get intimidated very easily. So even when they tried to test me, which they did, you know, they would drop a towel here and there and just come up with some lewd comments. But I always just laughed it off and kept going, and I never let them see me sweat. And that's kind of become a motto of mine. It's just never let them see what you're really thinking. And it worked for me. And eventually it all stopped and they just got used to me.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, it's wonderful that you came in and you kind of brought a new level of class into things, you know, by, like you said, by not downgrading, by continuing to be yourself and letting people know that, you know, it's not just a man's world, and it's actually a sport that's enjoyed by everyone. And you know, I think that's absolutely wonderful. And but I mean, you weren't like you said, you weren't new to the boxing world. You know, you had a little bit of clout in behind you, and you'd already been doing some articles and actually already in kind of reporting with some quite famous and fantastic people. Now I think we just lost Jackie. She may have jumped out. Bear with us, and we'll definitely get back to things here. Hi, Emily. How are you? Oh, might be having a bit of a power. Thanks for sharing out there, Teresa. For the viewers that are in the show, can of course you still, if anybody wants to message and just let us know that it's definitely not us. I noticed we're having a bit of a power fluctuation here, so I'm wondering. Oh, there she is.
Are you there?
Jackie, yep, we're still here. I didn't know if that was me or if that was you. I noticed
Kind of
that.
lost you for a second, and I hear the kind of jumbled talk again.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's try now. Is that any better? Oh, wow. Hold on then. Bear with me here. I hopefully our viewers can still hear me, and I'm just going to do a couple things here just to fix the feed because I think we're in a bit of a storm here. So bear with me. Hi, Jackie. Can you hear me better now?
You're still kind of jumbled, but I'll try to figure it out the best I can.
Oh, bear with me. Bear with me.
Can you hear me okay?
I can. Okay, am I back or not? Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Hopefully you can still hear me. Oh, goodness. Goodness. Any better now? Hello, I can see you.
I see you.
But you still can't hear me. Oh my goodness. Hello, 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 hello.
Whatever you did
Oh,
before cleared the volume for me, and you sounded very clear. And then
okay.
it just kind of lost it again.
Nothing yet, eh? Hopefully we still have everybody here. Bear with me here while I still check the cameras. Audio. Testing. How are we now?
Perfect.
Okay, I'm back, and terribly sorry about that. We had a power outage here, and it was just enough
Oh,
to
well, that
knock,
explains everything.
yeah, it knocked everything out of sync. So I noticed the studio lights are kind of on, but the upper ones are completely off. So
Oh
hopefully,
my gosh, where are
tomorrow-
you? What city are you in?
I'm in Kingston, Ontario, and we were having a little bit of rain earlier, but the winds are really, really high here. So I'm like right
Well,
on
I'm
the
sorry
waterfront.
about all that, but now we're back in place, so let's go.
We are excellent. Okay, so where was I? We were
You were
talking about.
asking about the adversity I faced being a woman in a man's sport,
That's
and
correct.
and really what it was like and what I had to overcome. And like I said, I just kind of learned not to let them see me sweat at all, to keep my composure, to continue to act and dress the way I always do. I
Yeah,
felt the best thing you can offer is to be yourself. That's all I know how to be, anyways. I couldn't be anybody else. And if you're comfortable in your own shoes and with who you are, then that's just the starting point to everything else you do. Be yourself and then just take yourself into whatever situation that you find yourself in. So it worked for
100%.
me pretty well. And after a while, the guys just accepted me. I've been 43 years now in the business. So
Wow.
the rough years are a long time behind me.
For sure. Now, what is the one thing that you look for in like picking up a new boxer?
Well, I think that there's three basic qualities that for me as a manager that I look for. I know everybody's got their own criteria and their own requirements, things like that, but I look for someone that's basically got that God-given talent. They were born to fight, and you could just tell that right away. Their movements are so fluid and natural, and they're just so at home in the gym, and you can just tell that this was what they were, created to do.
Yeah.
Secondly, I look for someone with really good habits and discipline, someone that doesn't run the streets, do recreational drugs, who gets drunk on the weekends and
Mm.
is always with different women. I look for someone that's very dedicated to the sport and disciplined, because that's a big part of it. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you live wrong, it's not going to get you to the top. And the third thing is kind of the one that's the most intangible, and that's heart. A
Mm.
fighter has to be able to go in there feeling like he'll do whatever it takes any sacrifice, whatever he has to do to be the best, that's something that you just have to have heart for that. Some guys get into trouble in the ring and they quit. And
Mhm.
the real champions have that heart and they will go, to any extreme. So if I find a fighter with natural ability, great training habits, and a lot of heart, I know he's got the potential to be a champion.
Well, yeah, it's fantastic, and I like how you said, it's also that kind of lifestyle as well, right? I mean, if you see someone who's doing recreational drugs or is just reckless in life, not only are they not going to make it to the top, but they're just not going to make it long, right? People will burn out quickly, or have a lot of issues. If you have issues coping with your regular life, I mean, your career is going to suffer for it, and that just goes for everybody.
That's for sure. And I've seen it many times in this sport. I can't tell you how many talented fighters, male and female, I've come across who had the goods. They had the skill, they had the speed, they had the power, but their habits were just not conducive to being a champion. They thought they could get by on talent alone.
Hmm.
And you can't. You have to live right. And I'm not a lecturer, I don't tell someone how to live. But the facts are the facts. Drugs
Hmm.
and alcohol are dead ends. They're never going to get you where you're going in any field. It's not just sports, in the corporate world, in a relationship. Either
Hmm.
you give it your all with a clear head or you're going to slip and fail. And so I've lived a very clean lifestyle. I don't drink, I don't do recreational drugs. I just try to live a good, clean life, eat as well as I can. We all slip sometimes. I guess, French fries and potato chips and junk food are my,
No
the
weakness.
bane of my existence. But, if that's the worst thing I do, I guess it's okay. But I think it's important in whatever you do to be healthy and to follow the right path.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like you said, I mean, it's the small follies. I mean, everybody's going to have some type of weakness somewhere, but I mean, as long as you try to keep it as minor as possible, then
Right.
continue to I mean, I can see why you're definitely a motivational speaker. It's and it's true. I mean, it's not the big things, it's the little things, right? But those little things all add up in your life.
You're 100% right. It is the little things. And, attitude is another thing that I look for in anybody, a friend, a coworker, a fighter. You have to
Mhm.
have a good attitude. You have to wake up in a basically good mood every day, and you have to see the best in every situation and the best in every person. I don't really do well with, down people who are always depressed, always seeing the worst in each other and seeing the
Mm.
worst in every situation. And I try to instill that good attitude in the people around me because I think you get a lot further with a
Yeah.
good attitude. And I think gratitude's a big part of it too. Be grateful if you've been given the talent. Be grateful and honor that talent and give it your all.
Mhm.
God doesn't give that talent to everybody, so don't squander it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. One of our listeners, of course, are in girl power. Yeah, 100%. It's and I think also she had posted. I'm just going to go back here a little bit. Happy to represent your sports brand. So lots of people out there, and I mean, clearly as an inspiration. And you're right. I mean, a positive attitude is a big difference in this world. I mean, and I remember when I was younger and I was in the sales world, and I remember looking at the statistic, and they're saying that. 14 people for every bad experience someone has, they will tell 14 people. So it's inherited that people love to complain. And they say of all the people who have a good experience, they'll only tell potentially 3. Now, isn't that weird?
Really? See, I
Yeah.
never heard that because that's the total opposite. I never complain, I never
Mm.
explain. What it is what it is. And you
Yeah.
learn to deal with it. And nobody really wants to hear your bitching and complaining, anyways. When someone says, "How are you?" they expect you to say, "Fine, great, whatever." I
Yeah.
don't like it myself if I ask someone how you doing and there's an hour of their litanies and complaints and how horrible their life is. It's I'll be happy to listen once, but if that's the whole conversation every time we speak,
Hmm.
I'm not a big fan of that kind of a person. I think we can find the bright side of every situation. There's a silver lining, and even the bad things are a good experience. We learn. If we're smart, we learn from every failure. And if you don't
Yes.
repeat the same mistake twice, then you're already ahead of the game.
That's right. That's right. I mean, and it's true. Nobody wants to hear complaining. I mean, everybody has down days. Everybody has ailments. Everybody, but I mean, I'm often reminded that, there are so many people out there that have it a lot worse than myself. And I hate to say it, it's like and it's always around the Christmas time when you see, those telethons that are on TV and the people that are the needy. But just look around in your own city. Look at how many people are homeless. Look at how many people are suffering with mental health issues. And I'm the first one to be, put your hand up and say, like, Christmas is wonderful. It's such a beautiful time, but it is also a horrible time for so many people. There's so many people who are suffering with mental illness. So many people that they don't have anybody over these holidays. Um, and I think when you think about being in a positive mood, like, just remember there are people who have it worse than you, but at the same time, try to have an open mind and remember that people are suffering, and a lot of people do that in silence. So stop complaining about the little things. It's and it's like I say, like, they're kind of first world problems when you think about it. It's like, oh well, I don't like my car, or man, gas is too expensive. It's like, well, be thankful you have a car. Be thankful you have money for gas. So it's all those things that it's true. Like, we have troubles, we have problems, but are they really problems in the grand scheme of things, or is it just that you're miserable and you want to complain? Because inherently, people like to complain.
Well, I like your point that you took, because holidays are not the only time that we need to do things for each other. It's the time
Mhm,
that we're most reminded of it.
mhm,
Adoptive family that has nothing and buy them all their Christmas gifts is a wonderful thing to do.
mhm,
Stuff packages with, gloves and scarves and things that the homeless people need, and take it downtown where the homeless people are. In every city, there's homeless people, and
mhm.
share what you have. Be able to take your resources, whether they're little or big, and give a portion of what you have to those who don't have it. And it makes you feel so good. And I think it's something that you should do year round. I don't think it's just something like, oh, it's Christmas, let's do something. It's a way of life.
Yeah,
If you go to a restaurant and see an elderly person eating alone, pick up their bill. What's another $20 in the whole
yeah,
scheme of things? But you could have made their whole day. They might have really struggled with the idea, can I afford to go out to dinner or not? Pick up their bill and you'll change that whole week for them. I've
yeah.
done it in supermarkets. I'll see people counting out the change and taking one item back because they didn't bring enough. And I'll say, put it on my bill. Things like that, I think, are so essential.
How we doing today? Me back?
We're back. I feel so bad for you. That nasty
Ah,
weather is not
I,
being nice to us.
I feel like the universe does not want me to talk to you for some reason. I don't know
They're
what's going
wrong. The
on.
universe is wrong.
right? This is, oh my goodness, this is what hurts me, because the moment the power just like I went completely black in the studio, I'm trying to find my way through the place, and I'm just like, this has got to be the worst day ever. So
Oh,
no,
well, I'm here whenever you keep coming back and forth. Don't worry.
oh, I'm so glad that you of course you're sticking it out. I know a lot of people that would not want to stick around through all this, so it's going to make very interesting fun for the post edit. Cleaning out all the gaps in the audio. So
No problem. Here we are.
oh my goodness. Yes, you're 100% right. I mean, when it really should be a lifestyle, trying to give to the less fortunate. My wife and I and my kids were just moving into a new house, and we're going through a lot of things, and we got to our winter collection, and here I've got ski jackets upon ski jackets and all these beautiful coats that are like practically brand new, and I live in like two coats, and my wife's like, oh, we'll just throw this in the donation bin or something. And I'm just like, or we could just take all these coats, drive downtown and take them to
Yes.
homeless people, like give them. I mean, whether it doesn't fit them and they want to trade it to someone else or someone else that might need that, give it face to face. I mean, and this is one of the things I really struggle with Christmas. I mean, I love the Christmas holiday, but as I get older, I really feel like it's so commercialized when it comes to like financial things. And I really don't want my kids thinking that it's all about the money and it's all about the gifts. Like I really want to take time and say, let's go to a needy soup kitchen. Let's give food out to people and remind ourselves that it's not always the most joyous holiday for everybody. So share that love and share that joy with other people.
Well, my mother used to take my brother and I, and we did civil rights walks. We went to Indian reservations and read to the Native American kids. And we've always been taught to give back. So I did that with my children. And now I'm doing that with my grandchildren. We go down to Thanksgiving and Christmas to a soup kitchen, and, we help feed the homeless. We do a toy giveaway the day before Christmas, so that on Christmas Eve, a lot of these kids will have a toy to open. And I think, like you said, it's very important. You have to do these random acts of kindness all through the year. You don't just do it once a year. You make it part of your life. Just put aside a little bit of what you have and share. And I agree with you. Don't just write a check. Don't drop something off in a box. Give it to someone. See the look on their face. It's like, I don't know, it's like an addiction. You just want to keep doing it. It
Yeah.
just feels so good.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's nice for the person you're giving things to actually see the kindness from someone just saying like, I care, like,
So
and
true.
if it just comes in from a corporation, it's like, well, this was nice. And yes, I might have clothes on my back or socks on my feet, but knowing that there's another person out there that's giving it to you is another thing. Like I remember once there was a homeless kid that was on the street, and he was sitting on the corner and he just looked absolutely horrible. And I just said, hey, can I get you something to eat? And I actually, because they lived around the corner, I walked over, I cooked him up a huge lunch and I brought it to him. And he like had tears in his eyes because he didn't actually thought when I left, like he
That
was
you
never gonna,
come back.
yeah, he didn't think I was gonna come back, and let alone to make him food as opposed to just buying them or throwing money. And it was nice, like I did that when I was younger, and it still sticks in my mind to this day. And I can
Well,
still,
being a good person. And,
yeah.
it's in all of us, but some of us are so busy and we just don't think of what it means to someone else. But I'm glad that you're like that as well, because it's been a big part of my life. And I just think it's one of the most important things I do.
Mhm. I guess I struggle. I mean, here in Kingston, the homeless population has exploded. COVID has been very hard on businesses. It's been hard on employees, and a lot of people, even if they're a McDonald's worker or they work as retail, you never realize that so many of those people literally rely on that job. That minimum wage job is the only thing that keeps them from being on the street or keeping their families off the street. And I guess I'm growing more and more concerned for the city, and seeing all these people out on the streets, and knowing that we've got a harsh winter on our way. On the flip side of that, we've got an area in Kingston that's called Tent City, where a lot of the homeless people go, and there are people complaining, saying, "Well, no, we got to get rid of that." And all I could think of is like, "Well, hold on a second. You're embarrassed to have these people here, but you're the same people who will not donate. You're not the person to help the cause. You just want it to go away magically." And that's a wonderful thought, but that is not how this world works.
Well, it makes you wonder about the souls of those people, because certainly we have to all love and care for each other. So there's a disconnect when someone can look at that and not see the humanity of it and just see it as a blight we have to get rid of. But, we're not going to change the world as much as we'd like to. So all we can do is in our own lives be as giving as we can be and as understanding and compassionate, and just hope that other people will follow our example.
Now, I'm going to bring something up, and I brought it up on the show once before, but I like sharing this idea out. I thought this was wonderful. Where someone had said, I asked one of the guests, like, what would you do with $100 million? And he had said, I would like to basically start a resort that is run by homeless people, but it's like we bring them in, we train them, we give them careers, we build up portfolios so that they can go out and join the regular workforce, and at the same time they live in the resort. So they live there, they work there, we give them the counseling they need. And I just thought, like, this is an idea that needs to go worldwide.
Well, there is a place like that in LA called HAP, People Assisting the Homeless. And they live there, they get job training there. People bring clothing for them and they get trained how to do a job interview, they get fed. And so there is a facility like that, but there should be one in every city.
100%.
It should be funded by the government, that when there's someone in our society who is in need and is out there on the street, we have to help them back into society and to give them the tools to be successful enough to lead a healthy life, to eat properly, have a roof over their heads, and to get the education they need. So I would love it if our government could afford to do that in every city. As an American, I know the structure is different in Canada, but wouldn't it be wonderful if every country could automatically provide that?
100%. 100%. I'm often even left thinking, like, the situation is so dire. I mean, is there a way of connecting with hardware stores and supply shops to make small shelters? Like, you don't want a bunch of homeless people living in tents and sleeping bags all over the place. Then let's build them a community where you actually make them feel like, hey, I have a life. I have it doesn't have to be fancy, but a proper roof over my head, and give them hope, give them back some humanity.
Well, we have something here in the States called Habitat for Humanity. And it's a volunteer organization, and people actually do contribute tools and supplies and build homes and shelters for these people. So that's another charity that I support. We just had a fundraiser not too long ago, and it is essential to provide housing for these people who really are living out on the street and getting very ill because they don't have the proper warmth. They have no way to, heal themselves when they're sick because they don't have the availability of the proper medications. So we really need to try a little bit harder as human beings to help each other out. And
100%.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. We definitely need a little bit more. And
we do.
Everybody share the word. If you feel the same, don't sit in silence about it. Talk about it. Talk with other people about it. Get more people involved, or more people active, or even just inspired by ideas. Like I said, like, one guest told me this idea and I thought this was amazing, and I want to share it with everybody I can possibly come across, because I feel like if the word got out, someone that has the finances to start it will get that ball rolling, and then so many people will want to join in and get on board. So
that would be wonderful. Let's just pray that happens.
100%. Now, a couple more boxing questions. Of course, you yourself, have you boxed?
No, I tried one time. I got in the ring. This was a long time ago. At this point, I'm a little too old to even try it. But when I was younger, I did put on the gloves and get in there. But I broke a nail just coincidentally, and it broke all the way down to the quick, and it really hurt. And I just said, this isn't for me. if it hurts breaking a nail, how am I going to feel getting hit in the face? So if I like being on the business side of things, I felt
Yeah.
that was my expertise. I
Yep.
didn't think that I had the skills to really do anything in the world of boxing. I was too old already,
Yeah.
and I felt I could do more on the business side. But it did feel good to get in there and just hit that heavy bag and try to hit that speed bag and get that rhythm going. It's really a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
workout. And we have a lot of
100%.
gyms here in the States that use the boxing workout as a way
Mhm.
to lose weight and stay in shape.
Yeah.
So it boxers stay in really good shape. If they
Mhm.
do what they're supposed to do, they're usually pretty lean and mean and ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I wish I did more exercise. My best way of dieting is just not eating, and and
I'm
and
with
uh,
you.
and it's very hard. It's a struggle that is truly real in day to day. I'm a foodie. I love food,
Me
and
too.
it's not just because like I love eating mass consumption, but it's there's just so many flavors out there, and I think it's because when I was young, I kind of lived a life of like the meat and potato,
Mhm.
Irish family life, and and then I was sudden I got older and I met people and started tasting flavors of different countries, and it like my brain exploded, and I was like, there's so much out there that I'm
I know.
missing.
Well, in our society, so many things center around food. We go out to lunch for business meetings, we have dinner meetings, we go out for breakfast meetings. Seems like every meeting I have is at a restaurant. Oh, I'll meet you for breakfast or let's have lunch. So everything is centered around eating.
Yes.
So it's pretty hard
Yeah,
if you want to diet and lose weight. It's pretty hard to do if you're an active person and you're out there in the working world.
that's right. You
Very
can't win
hard.
friends with salad. So, um, so the next thing I wanted to ask you, again from a boxing point of view, um, when we were talking earlier about having the right attitude to be a boxer, to be a fighter, how do you weigh in with people like Conor McGregor, who he seems to have a bit of a business mind to him, but at the same time, he just I don't know if it is an act. I don't know if he truly exudes this personal, like I'm better than I'm great than everybody else. Like to me, I just don't understand, I guess, the fighter like that.
Well, I think that there are people like that that need to learn to get out of their own way because even when they think they're being funny or clever, they come off as being a show off and know it all. They've always got a chip on their shoulder. Whatever you say, they want to fight.
Mm,
They're just like looking for trouble. And
yeah,
I think that kind of a personality um, usually ends up self destructing or getting in some kind of trouble they don't want to get in.
yeah.
And there's a talented guy. Conor McGregor's a talented fighter,
Mhm.
but you don't hit people in bars. You don't start up fights with people for no reason. He's lucky that he's not in jail for some of his antics, but
100%.
money buys you out of a lot of situations.
Yeah.
And I just think that when you're a public figure in any field, sports, entertainment, corporate, whatever, you owe it to the public to hold yourself in a little higher esteem and
Mm,
be a role model.
yeah.
Show
Yep.
the world that having money and fame and power is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't turn you into somebody that has to have 18 cars because there's
Mhm.
no need for 18 Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And that's just being a show off. I don't know that anyone really needs
No.
18 pounds of gold and diamonds to be wearing every day of the week. It's just a way. A lot of these people maybe didn't have a lot growing up, so now that they have the money, they want to show the world, look at me, look what I've achieved. But I
Yeah.
think there's other ways of doing it. Before I'd spend 250,000 on a car, I'd spend 50,000 and use the other 200 to start an organization, a foundation, to do
Mhm.
something more meaningful with the
Yeah.
money because it's not just about you. So I think Conor McGregor and some of these other athletes should really do a little self reflection, might do them some
Mhm.
good.
Mhm. And like you said, I mean, he has a tendency to go a little half-cocked and start fights. I mean, when you're a professional fighter and you start a fight, that's like pulling a gun out to someone. Like you're already a
Your
loaded
fists are
weapon.
your weapons. This is how you
Yeah,
make a living.
that's
So
right.
it just doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, I don't profess to be someone that can get in the heads of other people. You
Mm.
try to understand other people so that you can maybe see where they're coming from. Maybe you can
Yeah.
imagine walking in their shoes for a little bit. But I don't understand people that self destruct, because when you're
Yeah.
given so much God given talent and you've got the money and the lifestyle, can't you just rise above all that and be a good example? I just think anybody that takes what they have and just throws it away is an idiot.
Yeah, yeah. I feel the same about musicians. There's so many musicians that are just so talented and they get into drugs and
Right.
alcohol, and it's just like, why, when you're so amazingly talented, would you throw it all away? And
But
I
I
don't
see
know,
it.
man.
I see it in every profession. I
Mm,
see doctors who have ruined their careers by getting involved in drugs, and I see it in every walk of life. People who just take a misstep
mm.
instead of following the path that's laid out for them, which could lead them to everything they've ever wanted. They take a little sidestep or a side road, and it just leads them in the wrong direction. So we all have temptations. It's natural. We're all given opportunities to go the wrong way.
Yeah,
And I think we have to be responsible enough to make the right decisions for ourselves and consider our family, consider the people that are close to us. And like I said before, be a role model, be somebody that other people can look up to. It makes you feel great to get that respect and to feel that you're contributing to the world, not taking away from it. It's a great feeling. So I wish everybody had that inner drive to be the best they can be, because the only
100%.
person you compete with every day is yourself. And you want to be a better you every day.
100%. Now, before we jump over to our slightly slower than average rapid fire questions,
Okay.
I just wanted to bring up meeting the king, meeting Elvis Presley himself.
Mhm.
I mean, here you had an opportunity. You thought about, like, hey, here's a man who doesn't have a tendency to take a lot of interviews,
Right.
and you came about and said, hey, let's present him with a key to the city,
Yes.
get him here and talk. What was that like for you?
Well, I got to meet Elvis kind of at the end of his life. He didn't live much longer after I met him, and he was already swollen. He was carrying a lot of water weight. His eyes were half shut. You could tell he was under the influence of something. And I
Hmm.
felt so bad for him. Instead of looking at him and saying, wow, this is the king of rock and roll, he's got everything, I felt he had very little, because he couldn't go out in public and have a normal life. If he wanted to go to a movie, he had to wait till it was closed and buy out the whole theater. He
Yeah.
didn't have the life that all of us have. He lived very secluded. He didn't know who liked him for himself and who liked him for his fame. Um, he seemed very sad to me, and I just wanted to say, can we just get out of here and go have some fun? Let's just go out to dinner somewhere. Let's just go do something, because he just seemed like he was on autopilot, like
Yeah.
he was just
Yeah.
walking through life, going on stage, performing like a trained dog, getting off, getting in the car, going to the hotel, going to the next city. I felt
Mhm.
that he didn't really have a happy life. And that made me sad, because here's a
Yeah.
man that had all the fame in the world, all the money in the
Mhm.
world, and he seemed very sad. And
Yeah.
that was the feeling I got, was this is a sad man. And he was lovely, though. He was very soft spoken, Southern gentleman all the way. And I just feel that he was trapped by his fame.
Yeah, and what of an interesting perspective to see it, because everybody sees Elvis Presley as this handsome man and such a powerful gentleman, such a presence. To flip that around and see it differently, and realizing that, what, again, fame doesn't do everything for everybody.
Yeah, are you talking about Elvis's generosity?
Well, yeah, and just him being like, just seeing that opposite side of him.
I know from people, I've met a lot of people over the years that were in his inner circle. I've spent some time with his ex-wife Priscilla. I've spent time with Jerry Schilling, who was one of his little Memphis Mafia. And, you know, from what everybody told me, he was so giving and so
Hmm.
generous. He bought people cars and jewelry, and he just wanted to be loved. He wanted to be accepted. And how can you not feel warmth and compassion for a man who gave of himself so selflessly? And I don't know that he ever knew who liked him for himself and who liked him because he was Elvis.
Yeah, that's tough.
Kind of sad.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed there's a bit of a clicking on that side. Is my audio coming through weird?
Yeah, you're clicking a little, but I hear you. It's better than it was before.
Okay, terribly sorry about that. How about we jump over to some questions?
I'm ready.
Okay, let me bring up the first one here. There we go. I think we had a little fun of this on another one. And again, I want to give a big shout out to Jay Benjamin, who, of course, had connected us earlier when we were hoping to meet Jamie Foxx, and we missed on that opportunity.
I know that. I felt so bad for Jay because he was looking forward to it. And he's just a wonderful guy and a good friend of mine. And I know he was really hoping that was going to come together. But it
Yeah.
might still on another day. So we'll join him then.
Yeah, well, we'll hope so, Jamie. If you're listening, we're still waiting eagerly.
Yes.
So you know what? I've asked you this one question before, and I'm going to skip this, and I'm going to ask you something completely different. Are you a cake or a pie person?
A what? Say that again because you crinkled a little.
A cake or a pie person?
Oh, cake or pie? Peach pie. Love
Really?
peach pie. Crazy,
Okay.
but that's what I love.
Fantastic. What's the scariest dream you've ever had?
The scariest dream? Oh my gosh. I dreamt that there was an alien following me everywhere I went, and no one could see him but me. And he definitely was gonna take me wherever he came from. And all I could do every time it was just elude him. And I had that dream several times. He never caught me, but he was always a few steps behind me, and that scared the whatever out of me.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that would do that. I had one with E.T. That was horrible for me. So, if you could have a superpower, which one would you like?
To make everybody kind. If I could just have the power to make everybody kind and loving and eliminate hate, oh, that would be my dream.
That's wonderful. I've never heard that one before. That's great. What's your earliest childhood memory?
Oh, for sure. I know this one. When I was about 2.5, I remember my mother put me in one of those little bouncy things, that little metal chair you sit in. And she went to answer the phone. And I walked my way to the basement stairs and fell all the way down the stairs in this chair. And
my God.
I screamed bloody murder. I had a few bruises, nothing broke. But I so vividly remember going down those stairs in that little metal chair. So that's very vivid to me. And I think I was about 2.5.
Oh, wow. That's traumatic. I mean, they probably took those things off the market not too much far after that.
I would hope so.
Yeah. If anything, have you ever been in one of those moments in your life where your parents could have sued a company for something because of poor construction or something, and then just never capitalized on it?
Probably that one, because this little chair wasn't very safe. It had little wheels on it, and a kid could go anywhere and get away. So if you're in a home that had stairs, I would say it wasn't the brightest idea. It should have had little brakes on it so that it would stay in one place. But nevertheless, nobody sued back then.
It's true. Yeah. When I was young, I scalded my throat on McDonald's hot chocolate.
Oh, did they sue?
No, my parents were just like, sorry, that was our fault. And then years later, someone sued for burning themselves with coffee and won like $3 million.
I remember, right?
Yeah. So, man, could have, yes, a different time, I guess. Could have been rich. Never know.
Never know. You have to understand how long ago that was for me, because I'm going to be 76. So that was way back in the 40s. So I don't think anyone was very litigious back there. They didn't think about suing over this. And who would sue over a cup of coffee in those days? They were just happy the war was over, you know?
It's true. It's true. What makes you happiest?
Being with my children and grandchildren, that they're the loves of my life. I have 2 sons, 5 grandchildren, and when I'm around them, I feel like that's my biggest accomplishment. They're all wonderful people, and I'm so proud of them.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. My wife and I look forward to grandkids. We
Oh, it's
hope
the
our kids
best.
will have them sometime.
It's great.
Yeah. If you could learn a foreign language, which one would you like?
Probably Spanish because I deal with a lot of Mexican, Puerto Rican fighters, and I'd love to be able to communicate with them better. I
Hmm.
took it in high school. You can imagine how long ago that was, and I've lost most of it. So
Hmm.
I'd love to learn that. I'm still going to think about doing that. I'm not too old to learn a language.
Never. Yeah. Duolingo. That's the way you can just learn it from your iPhone or your iPad now.
Yeah.
So, yep. Um, oh, okay. If you could live in any decade, and it doesn't have to be one you've lived in, which
Mhm.
one would you like to live in?
Oh, that's easy too. The Roaring Twenties. Oh, I love that era. I love the flapper dresses and the music, and it just seems so glamorous to me. The Great
Yeah,
Gatsby. So I would love to have lived in the 20s.
that's very cool. Yeah. I really look at that and I think that was a classy time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, toilet paper flap. Do you like it over or under?
Oh, for sure, it's got to be over. I don't understand how anyone pulls it from behind. It's got to be over. That's a no-brainer, right?
I never realized, but they're apparently in the original patent of toilet paper, they show it over, and I never knew that. And I'm a toilet paper under, but that's because I had cats, and when they would play with it,
Oh,
it
right,
would
right, right,
unroll it.
right.
Yeah.
No, when I
So
see it anywhere in a public bathroom and it's coming under, I flip it.
that's funny. It used to be a very strong contention in my household of which way it went.
Yeah, got to be
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. Good to know. Um, what was the first movie that ever made you cry?
Splendor in the Grass, Warren Beatty and Natalie Wood. Oh my gosh, I watched it over and over, cried every single time. Just a
Wow.
classic.
Yeah. Okay, that's amazing. Nobody's ever said that one before. Well, this comes back to the earlier question, but do you believe in aliens?
I do. I've seen them in my dreams, and I definitely believe that there's life from other planets here. I mean, how could there not be? We're going up to the moon. I just think it's possible.
Yeah. I think there's no way we're the only thing in this galaxy.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. How
This
would you
is fun.
spend?
I like this.
Good. How would you spend $100 million?
I like the idea that you mentioned, that's for sure. But 100 million, I think I would like to pick 100 people that were really suffering in a very serious ways, who are going through health crisis or other things, and I'd like to give each one of those 100 people $1 million and change their life.
That's wonderful. Yeah. I mean, even if you divided that and did like 200 people at
Yeah,
500,000,
right.
like,
I would just like to give it away. I think that if it's money I didn't earn, that I didn't, you know, expect, I feel that it would be my place. Maybe keep a little of it, but just give it to the world in as many different ways as I could. So
hmm,
that's what I would do with it.
that's wonderful. Yep. We need more people like you.
Well, it wasn't mine to begin with, so I might as well share it.
True. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right.
Right-handed. What gets on your nerves?
Oh my gosh. Where do we start? Gossips, petty people that talk about other people and don't even know what they're talking about. People that just like to stir shit. I don't like shit stirrers, and there's some in every group of friends. There's always that one person that's got to talk about everyone else. Oh, that bothers the crap out of me.
Yeah. Nope, that's good. Um, what's the last thing you did just for yourself?
Manny petty facial.
Nice.
That, and
Nice.
it's the best feeling to feel pretty, have your nails done, your toes done, and have a nice facial. I love it. So that's occasionally I will treat myself to a day at the spa.
That's why I would probably easily say you look 30 years younger than you said.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you an iPhone or an Android user?
iPhone.
iPhone. Um, what do you do when you can't fall asleep?
You're talking to the wrong girl. I sleep like a newborn. My problem is the opposite. How do I stay up? I start to watch a show, I fall right asleep. I'm from the original sleepers. I can go 12 hours. If I go to sleep at 10 o'clock, I can sleep till 10 o'clock. If I go to sleep at 1 o'clock, I can sleep till 1. I've never had a problem falling asleep, so that doesn't apply to me.
Oh my goodness. I wish I'd know what 12 hours sleep looked
I
like.
don't know what it is. I lay my head down and I'm out.
What activity makes you totally lose track of time?
2, reading. I can get stuck in a book and hours go by.
Mhm.
And probably playing word games, words with friends, and some of the games, wordscapes. I'll get
Mhm.
started and I'll look up and 2 hours have passed. I like keeping my mind busy.
I love wordscapes. That's a fun one, actually.
Isn't that great?
It
Oh,
is.
that's my favorite.
It's good. I actually find more of the secret words than the actual words on the board.
I know they all go down in that pile. You get a point for them, but they don't go up. I know.
That's right. Oh, it's
For
so
those
frustrating.
who don't play wordscapes, try it. It's very addicting.
I really like it. It's fun, and we're not even sponsored by them, and I totally recommend them. So, what's the best thing you've ever eaten?
Oh, lobster.
Lobster.
I'm a lobster-holic, if there is such a thing. You give me a lobster tail dipped in butter. Oh my gosh. Yeah, lobster's my favorite thing.
I just had lobster not too long ago for the
Oh.
first time. It was quite
For
nice.
the first time?
Yeah, I know.
Did you
How
like
nice.
it?
It was. It was really good. I really liked it.
Oh, a good big African rock lobster tail is to die. I love it.
Yeah, lobster and steak. That's what I had.
Oh, surf and turf.
Yeah. Yep. Mike says butter and garlic. That's the
Oh
way to
yeah.
go.
Oh,
Yeah. I actually think that that's why people eat lobster, is just to dip it in butter.
oh, you can't eat it dry. I don't know who would eat it dry. You just drench it. You just take it on your fork and just drench it and just put it in just while the butter's dripping off. Oh, now I'm getting hungry.
Secretly, people just want to eat a stick of butter.
Oh, love it.
Shout out to Mike Wagner. Mike, thanks for joining us today. Oh, okay. This one's always a fun one. Have you ever had a crush on a TV or movie character? And if so, who?
That's another easy one for me. I literally have crushed on Rocky and Sylvester Stallone. They're one and the same to me. But from the time I saw that movie, I just had such a crush on that character. I thought, oh, he's so adorable. He's so sweet. He's strong, but he's gentle and he's so sweet and simple. And then, of course, I got to meet him and we ended up being friends. I worked together with him. We did The Contender together on NBC and I got to have the same dressing room with him. So I was with him every day for 2 months and I
Oh, wow.
still walked away with the same crush on him, knowing him or not knowing him. It's the same thing. He's an amazing guy. He's so intelligent and so multi-talented, writing, producing, directing, acting. I just think he's an amazing human being, and I still have a crush on him.
Did you ever tell him?
No. Oh, God, no.
No. Oh, I think that would have been a perfect opportunity.
No, I no.
Couldn't do it.
No, I get so
Oh.
embarrassed, but yeah, that he's always been my crush for
Oh, that's
40
amazing.
years.
Wow.
No, it's probably more than that. When did that come out? 76? 45 years? 46. Yeah.
I think someone should make a show about who you crushed on and then try to introduce them on TV.
Oh, I think that would be that's a great idea for show. Because there are always going to be some celebrity. So get the
Yeah.
celebrity to meet a fan who's had a crush on them forever. What
Yeah.
a thrill that would be for the average person,
I think
to
it'd be
actually
amazing.
come face to face with your crush. Because sometimes it isn't all that you thought it was going to be. The person's rude or aloof or, in person, they're not what you hoped they'd be. So
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to see who lived up to the hype and who didn't.
Yeah. And just make it totally candid. Like you don't really tell the celebrity what's happening and then meet them so it's truly genuine.
Oh, I think you should write that. That's a good
Yeah.
show.
Wow. Hey, if anybody does that before I ever get to it, make sure I get let in on this.
That's right. You want your credit.
That's right. Last question I have for you, of course, is what's your favorite podcast you've been on in the last 12 hours?
That's easy. You get it, hands down.
Yay! That's wonderful. Super amazing. Now, two things, of course, before we get going. And the first one, of course, is we have this wonderful draw that we've been want to do, and hopefully you'd like to enjoy us while we do this on the show.
Okay.
So we have a beautiful lightsaber that has been donated by our sponsor from Blue Bull Sabers and Parts. It's the Outer Rim Saber Part Shop. And this thing is a custom limited edition just to them. It's called the Triarch. I'm going to actually dim the lights here quickly because this is really beautiful when it lights up. And it really messes with my green screen, so I'm going to give everybody a heads up on that. But
oh,
it's very bright. It's got a smooth motion that when you move it, it sounds amazing. It's got a flash, like a blaster flash, and a flash on clash.
Oh, that's so cool. My grandson would love that. That's very cool.
They're very amazing. It's got 9 different sound fonts, so different saber fonts. You can turn it to any color you want, which
Wow.
I'll quickly give people an idea here. So you can, it's so bright, it looks kind of white, but you can see green, blue. And this is totally battle ready as well. So if you want to clash, you want to play with other people with it, you don't have to worry about it just being a toy. It is fully battle ready. So you can channel your inner Sith with red. You can make it blue. You can make it whatever color you want. And we're super excited to give it away. We'll bring up the house lights here. And we'll turn this down. So we had a little requisition out there that, of course, people had to jump over and like Blue Bull Saber Parts, as well as like our page. So the people who followed through with everything is, of course, on our wheel here. For those of you who did not follow all the instructions, maybe perhaps a better luck next time. Let me share the screen and bring up the wheel of names. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yes, I see a
There we
whole
go.
wheel. Yep.
All right, so let's spin to win and see who's going to take home this wonderful saber over the Christmas holidays. Brian M. Congratulations, Brian. Brian is, of course, one of our regular show listeners, and super happy that actually Brian won that one. We'll get rid of that and just have you and I again.
Well,
So
he's
congratulations,
gonna love
Brian.
that. He's going
He
to be
is going
very
to love
happy.
that. And he's got some kids, of course, who are huge Saber fans. So I'm really looking forward to make sure Brian gets this. I'll put it all together. I'll make sure that I throw in maybe a belt clip and some other little fun things. And again, from our sponsors at Blue Bull Saber Part Shop. Of course, we've had the ticker tape at the bottom of the screen. You can jump over to their website and check them out. And before we let you go, Jackie, is there anything you'd like to say? Any social media where people can get you? Again, you've done a couple of books, maybe some where we can find your books.
Well, I've got another one coming out in the spring, and I'm not sure the title. We're kind of going back and forth about the title, but it's going to be a biography. It's written by Peter Mann out of England. He's doing a beautifully written book about me, and I'm very excited to have it out. And in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram, on Facebook at Jackie Kaplan-Kallen. I use my maiden name as well. That's really been helpful for a lot of my childhood friends who lost track of me to find me. And
Yep.
I answer everybody, whoever writes to me, I answer. Jackie Kallen at AOL.com. That's my email, and I answer emails as well. And I love interacting with people who love boxing, just people in general who want advice. I do life coaching.
Wonderful.
And, just people are my specialty, and enjoying life, getting the most out of it, and realizing that every day is a blessing and we have so much to be grateful for. And I think that in most cases, we're mostly too blessed to be stressed. So keep that smile on and enjoy every day.
100%. And for anybody who'd like to know a little bit more of Jackie, there are some wonderful pages out there. But check out the movie Against the Ropes. And that is a movie with Meg Ryan and Omar Epps that, of course, is based on Jackie. So a wonderful movie and just a wonderful way of seeing a little bit more about Jackie. I highly recommend it. And
Thank you
reach
so
out to her.
much. And
Yeah.
and certainly they can Google my name, and there's all kinds of interviews and pictures and things like that. And like I said, I love to interact with people, so feel free to contact me if you feel inclined to do so.
Wonderful. Well, it's been wonderful having you on the show, and I hopefully we can maybe have you back in the new year.
Oh, I would love it. You know how to reach me, and I will be
100%.
that guest that fills in at the last minute when someone cancels. And you need someone, just let me know.
Well, you know what? Every once in a while, it's nice to have a celebrity co-host. So maybe I can have you on, and you can help me interview someone.
I'd be delighted. That'd be so much fun. So
That would be fun for
don't
me as well.
promise and not do it. Keep me in mind.
I will 100% do that. So
Okay, great.
again, thank you very
Have
much.
a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful New Year's, and a happy, what's it called, Boxing Day?
But 100%. You as well. And of course, for our listeners who are on the road and haven't been able to watch the live feed today, we'll make sure we edit out a lot of those power outages. But B, jump over to our website, check out our guest section. We'll make sure we put a beautiful picture of Jackie up there, as well as contacts for her social media, in case you ever want to get in touch with her.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Jackie. And I hope you have a wonderful night.
You too. Bye.
Thanks.